Welcome back to Untitled Conversations. I know we had an abrupt stop last week, but we are back with part 2 of the conversation with me and Sonje. So y'all already know this is the podcast where we talk about everything faith, life, and the world as we know it. So here's what y'all been waiting for.
People already knew I was close to God because I was a PK.
Right.
Everybody in my school knew
Absolutely.
Sonje's a preacher's kid.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So they would always like clown me on that. But I was still a cool dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was able to be around, but people knew my background.
What was up?
You know what I'm saying? They knew what I was about. So like once I got saved, it wasn't really nothing new to them.
Right.
They just started noticing the difference. Yeah. They was like, oh, okay, Ye ain't coming around no more like that.
Yeah.
Ye is kind of declining us asking him to come out, you know what I'm saying, or hang out after school or this, that, and the third. I'm more so like, okay, I'm trying to be here, get my work done. I was still hooping at the time, so I'm gonna go to basketball practice. But that's it. Yeah, I ain't walking around with y'all. We ain't doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? So they started noticing that, and then it came to a point where the opportunity came about where I was, able to transfer, and I had a higher percentage of getting in. Because it was an art school. I transferred to art school.
Oh, okay.
So a higher percentage of getting in because it's gifted and talented.
Right.
So I'm like, that's my opportunity to get up out of here. I'm leaving. So then I ended up going to an art school. And then going to my art school, like, I ain't gonna lie, my first day I told my mom, I need to go back. Like, I need to go back to my old school. Because being that it was an art school, it was more so of a college. Because it was out of campus. You walked to class, stuff like that. You could eat outside. Like, you wasn't just stuck in, one building. But then being as an art school, people are more outgoing.
Yes.
I wasn't used to that going to.
For sure.
Because I don't like to call high schools like HBCUs.
No, I know what you're talking about. Because my high school was definitely, I call it a HBHS.
Yeah, HBHS. That's what
prepares you to go to HBCU.
Exactly. That was that was the high school I was going to before.
Okay.
And then the high school I started going to after that was more so like, it wasn't a PWI, but it was like everybody.
Right.
I'm talking about, the whole nine. Right.
Whole nine.
And it just opened my eyes up to a whole other world. And I was like, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know, Mom. I'm like, nah. But then, 2 years after that, graduated from that high school. So it was a great experience. But transferring definitely put me in a space to where I started becoming more closer to God and started taking my walk in life seriously.
Right.
And I'm okay because I know when I go to college, like, I need to be on the right path, because if not, I know how people can be lost, right, and then be even more lost once they get to college because they never found that path.
Yeah. And
if they let society find that path for them, they're never going to put them on the right path.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how I was leading up to college. But yeah, I definitely had my encounter way before college. And college just kind of like kept pushing me toward God. Like, okay, right, yeah, because you by yourself, you're going to need me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think that, funny enough, we actually had like a backwards experience, because like for me, middle school was an art school where I got exposed to the whole nine.
Yeah.
And then high school was the HBCU prep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think too, like going to college from, because like I said, I'm a PK too, so it's like as PKs we always know about God. Mm-hmm. We obviously, our parents, we always felt God's presence, but I think that kind of having that encounter and being able to step into that on your own is different. And I think too, being freshman year, I don't think I was able to have it because, like I said, I was going back home so often. I think that a lot of times too, when you grow up in a household where God's presence is always there, but you don't kind of know him for yourself, it takes you stepping out for that faith to really be tested. Because like for me, I always felt like, okay, well, because my dad is a pastor, I'm always going to be covered. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that was the intention that I had before I had an encounter. It's like, not saying I didn't have to know God myself, but it's like, bro, Pop's got me. Like, he ain't going to let nothing happen to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But going to school, it's like, all right, Pops ain't in the dorm room. So it's like,
exactly.
I have to cover myself. You know what I'm saying? And I think that going into junior year, like you said, kind of like the friends were like, okay, like Joy's not going out as much, like, because me personally, growing up as a PK, I was never a party person. So me going to parties sophomore year was already foreign territory to me, but because my flesh enjoyed it, I kept going. You know what I'm saying? I kept smoking, I kept drinking. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what my flesh enjoyed. But then God was like, come sit down, daughter. Like,
Yeah.
come take a seat. Because it's like, I was never supposed to be there. But then I heard, seen a video the other day where it was like, you're basically I don't want to say ungodly, but like your unsaved friends can be the people to tell you like, yo, this is not for you. And
Bro,
I had that happen where it's like,
absolutely.
I had a friend who was like, bro, like you don't even look comfortable being here. Like you just like, everybody, all the other girls are doing what girls do at parties. And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not, it doesn't look normal. So like one of my friends, shout out to Jen. She's going to enjoy this. Shout out to Jen.
The big sis.
But like we were having a conversation and we were just talking or whatever. And this was like earlier in the semester where like, teetering the line.
Yeah.
We were having a conversation and she's just like, bro, like, don't even say that. Like, you don't even sound right saying that. And she gonna know what I'm talking about. Yeah. We were just having a conversation. She's like, bro, you don't even like every time the conversation tried to happen, she's like, bro, just let me and this person have it. Just sit on the sidelines. Cause it's like, they know, like your friends will know, your friends that are close to you will know when you're not supposed to be in a certain situation or something of that nature. But I think that's kind of an interesting dynamic.
That's a good thing.
Exactly.
Because it's almost like they can see.
They can see in you what you'd always don't see. I'm about to say,
they can see what you can't see.
Correct.
And what they see is like that potential. They see that oil. They like.
Yeah.
Or like, for me, it was a thing of like, people didn't like doing stuff around me. So like once I got saved, it changed from like, okay, for instance, so this is not a good way to explain it, but I was kind of an early bloomer when it came to sinning. Okay. So like I started smoking early. Sure. I was never a drinker. So really for me, it was just smoke. Like, same. And I started, I think my first time smoking was like 14 or 15. Peer pressured into it too.
No, for sure. That was mine was junior year of high school.
Yeah, it was like 14 or 15. Because I want to say I was still in middle school, so it might have been a little younger than that. Ooh. But yeah,
come on, peer pressure.
Yeah, it was crazy. But
that's one thing though about PKs.
Yeah,
I think that's a constant. It's like because
that's why we had that. That's why that cliche is on it.
For sure.
That stereotype is PKs are the worst.
Yeah. But we just hide stuff.
We
hid. Let me not say hide. Mama, I love you.
Yeah.
we hid stuff. Just because,
but I ended up getting caught. Told on, and then I told myself.
Dang, somebody snitched on you?
My sisters. It was crazy.
Own people's,
that's a long story in itself. That is a long story. They was hating. That's all it was.
I mean, you the youngest?
Yeah.
It's always.
And I was the good child.
Thank you.
For the most part.
Yes.
Yeah, for the most part. Like I never really did nothing too crazy.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? What I did with the devil.
But it's always the youngest, and then you put the PK on the youngest. Yeah. It's just
literally. So yep. So like I started kind of early. So by the time I got to college, I ain't did that stuff for years. I ain't did that stuff for years. So like, and then even smoking, I didn't do that for a long time. Yeah. Like, I did it a couple months, and then I ended up getting caught. Like somebody told on me, and then my mom knew. You know what I'm saying? So then I just ended up kind of like telling her, like, yeah, I did. You know what I'm saying? She was disappointed, stuff like that. The funny thing was, she was trying to put me in rehab. Like, Mom,
I'm not an addict.
Yeah, like, come on, a couple times. It's like,
just a dibble dabble.
She was like, yeah, I want to take you to these classes. I don't need that. Just tell me not to do it, and I got you. Like, I'll stop. You know what I'm saying? So, but like within that, like it's just kind of my friends stopped doing stuff around me. Like when I came around, it went from we gonna smoke weed to like I don't even feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Rolling this up. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't even feel comfortable drinking. Or I don't even feel comfortable having this type of conversation. And I always started used to wonder well, why? But then, as I matured in Christ and I started figuring out like your body's a temple.
Yeah.
And, like God's presence is sometimes you could be the only God they see.
Yes.
Not saying I am God, but you can be the only representation of him.
Yeah.
And like when I started learning that, I was like, oh, well, that's why stuff used to happen like that. That's why they used to stop doing that. Or that's why when they wanted to do something, they was like, nah, yeah, you stay at home. Or we don't want you. Like it wasn't that they didn't want me around.
Yeah.
They didn't want to feel convicted because they felt bad when they was doing what they was doing, even if they didn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah.
Something in them was like, you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
So then I started. I don't want to say using that to my advantage, but I did. Because because if I'm the only representation of God that you'll see, I need to start coming around more.
I need to be around, yeah.
Yeah. So it was more so of a thing like, okay, let me start coming around more, so then I can explain what you're feeling.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to just be around me and be like, dang, I don't want you to be here because I don't feel some type of way. No, let me explain what you're feeling. Right. What you're feeling is God telling you you're not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
Because he told me the same thing.
Facts.
So now let me like kind of walk you through what I experienced.
Yeah.
So that's just, yeah.
And see, mine was later, I would say. Like, mine was in college because, fortunately, I didn't get told on. So I told on myself. But it wasn't like confession. It was more so like it was a conversation that was had, and it came up in the conversation, and I was just like, well, I've done this and that. But then after I even stopped before that like big encounter, because there were little encounters that kind of led up to, because it's like if you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing and you're trying to grow with God, he's gonna give you like little warnings, like,
absolutely,
hey, this is gonna happen, or something else will happen. And it's like, that's like the thing, is like he's gonna continue to put you through whatever it is until you learn the lesson that he's trying to teach you. And then my encounter in July, it's just laid out. It was like, this is it. You know what I'm saying? And for all of fall semester, because I was like, I'm not going to drink anymore till I turn 21. Because it's, by law, I'm not supposed to be drinking under 21. I hope that doesn't, ruffle any feathers. But, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I was like, fall semester, I was just like, no. Like, homecoming came, and it's just like, pregame. It's like, no, I'm good. Yeah. Like, I'm cool. Like, because
I'd rather just wait till the game.
For sure. I'll just
or just go watch the game.
I didn't go to a single party. Did I go to a party homecoming? I don't think I didn't go to any party. No, that was Ramfest. I didn't go to any parties homecoming.
I tried to go to one party I went to, and it didn't work. And I've never been a partier either. Like, in my span of life, I've probably been to like 4 parties. And all of them were somebody that I knew. Like, it wasn't just a random party just happening in the city. I'm like, let me go. No, it was like, my brother was throwing a birthday party and just had all the people in the city come out. Yeah. Like, it was like that. I've never been. But the one I tried to go to Winston was the LDOT party last year. Didn't work.
And you know what's crazy? I think I said this on the last episode too, but like every college party that I went to, I got sick. I got COVID after going to the party.
For real?
Mm-hmm. So, beginning of sophomore year, end of semester sophomore year, there was like a party or whatever. And I went home early with COVID. And then LDOC last year, or Ramfest of sophomore year, I went to a party on Sunday. I should have known it was coming.
Yeah. You should have known you was going to get that.
I should have known. But we were excited to go, whatever. Went to the party, and it was pretty nasty. It was the Q's in the new party. Went to the party, and I was home by Thursday.
Dang.
Because like COVID don't just smack you first. Like, it kind of creeps up on you. Yeah. So I felt fine after. I was like, okay, bet, we're good. You know what I'm saying? And no, it didn't work out for me. And so then I think after that experience, I was like, okay, like, because I kept trying to force it, like going to the parties. I kept trying to force it, and it just, the Lord was like, this is not where you're supposed to be. And if you want to keep going, you're going to keep getting sick.
He will show you.
And so I stopped going to parties, and then, after, because like sometimes when things happen, you don't realize until after, or like you can look back. Because now looking back on it, I'm like, like now I can say, yes, I wasn't supposed to be at those parties, but in the moment, it's just like, bro, like, why not, right? But then also kind of how you said, like, your friends start to realize. So I stopped getting those invites to party, but even like some of my friends stopped wanting to go to parties, like the desire to go to the atmosphere that's the same every time you go.
Every time.
Same music, same people.
And then when it comes to Winston parties, you know how those typically end. So why do I even want to be around that?
Exactly. So that was kind of like where that went. But then I think too, as the semester progressed last year, I started to notice that people began to come to me with those like, hey, this is happening. What do you think I should do about it? You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, I may be that only representation of God that they have.
That only one.
But then it's just like, too, I think the first time it happened, I was just kind of like, me? You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like that question of like, are you really coming to me to ask these questions? You know what I'm saying? But then I had to realize that being that I was probably the only friend that was, constantly in their word, listening to sermons, going to church, things like that. It's like, I'm being poured into. So now it's time for me to pour out. Whereas like I was just getting poured into and I wasn't doing anything with it. You know what I'm saying? And so my roommate last fall semester, like we even began to have different conversations. Like I didn't know this girl prior to her being my roommate. And literally like from the time I met her to the time she left in December, I was able to see that growth because we cultivated a space where the presence of God was in the room, because we would have those talks. We would have we would have Bible studies, but I had never done that with a roommate before, and I don't think she had ever. She went and bought a Bible, the same Bible I had, because she wanted to do Bible study.
Oh wow!
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like little things like that until like in the moment I'm like, I'm not thinking anything of it, but it's like looking back on it now, it's like now she's on her own walk with Christ because there was a representation that was close. You know what I'm saying? Because like living with somebody, you gonna hear this worship music in the room. You know what I'm saying? You're in the morning and at night. Absolutely. If I'm in the room, you're gonna hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I think my question to you would be like, first, I know because you lead Bible study at school, men's Bible study. But like, do you ever have those moments where people come up and they're just like, Sonje, like, I need something. You know what I'm saying? Like that advice.
It's been like that since high school. Like people have come to me with advice. So like, and that's one of the things I did struggle with was, because that can seem like it's a great thing when people come to you with advice, but it's about how you handle that relationship. Yeah. So one of the main thing that I kept dealing with in high school was women. Girls were coming to me for advice on, life situations, because I got sisters. Yeah. You have mothers in the house, fathers in the house. That's a blessing in itself.
Yeah. Shout out to all the 2-parent households.
Yeah,
but also shout out to all the single parent households. Y'all doing y'all thing.
Absolutely. So I struggled with keeping those relationships a godly thing. You know what I'm saying? It was more so like it will always try to creep into that. Oh, let's be in a relationship. That's not my job. Right. I'm here to lead you as far as God wants me to lead you, and then leave, or not even leave, but just keep let it be. Yeah, let it be there. So I'm glad that I was able to have those experiences earlier on, because it kind of like led me in the direction of what I'm supposed to be doing and how to like dissect things and see things before they happen and stuff like that. But yeah, people do come to me for advice, especially when it's like walks in Christ, because there's a lot of times this world is confusing. Very. So you don't know what to believe. You don't know, you know what I'm saying, what's wrong, what's right. I mean, let's look at the church. The church is not in the best shape either. So you can't even really watch a video and all the way tell if they're telling the truth. Yeah. Or if what they're saying is how they're living. Like you can't tell that either. So what I try to do is I look at it from a different lens. Like I use, like I said, those things to my advantage. So like I'll still go out to like maybe campus events, you know what I'm saying, and like dance to the hip hop or R&B music, but I just want to show people that you can still have fun and be saved. Yes. So like that's why I said I kind of use those things to my advantage. Like when it comes to like the guys Bible study that I teach, like we go out and do stuff because, bro, I want to show you a different way than what you've known. Yeah. You don't have to be drunk, high to go have fun, bro. We can just all go out bowling together and have a good time. You know
I think that's too, like, being on a campus. It's like you're when you are doing these things to go have a good time, it's like, because it's been like, because I know I even kind of got caught in, it's like because you're doing this so much that you miss out on the actual fun. Like, because literally, if you're high or you're drunk and you're going to have fun, you're not even going to remember literally what you did. Literally. You know what I'm saying? Literally. Sober fun is the best fun. You know what I'm saying?
Because you remember all of their memories. It becomes a memory and something that lasts long rather than you just remembering what happened before you got drunk. Right. and all that was what, the drive to the party. So it's just like, was that fun? Like, no, you just remember a whole bunch of red lights. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, I just try to show people a different world. It's like, because I mean, I was never the one. Like I said, I didn't party in the first place.
Right.
But I still wanted to show people, like, bro, loving God is cool. Like,
facts.
There's
Say it
nothing.
again for
There's
the people
not
in the
loving
back of
God
the
is cool. There's nothing lame about it.
Facts.
If anything, that's the coolest thing you could ever do.
Yeah.
Is follow God, because who else do you know can say they know who created them? Like, not too many people can say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, not too many people can say that. Oh, I know the man who created me.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, to have access to the creator of this earth. Like, you can't really get any cooler than that. So I just try to show people a different, like, that's why I love to dress. Yeah. Because I love to show people, like, bro, you ain't gotta be in a suit and tie. Your suit pants ain't gotta be 3 times bigger than you. Like, bro, don't
come for the big suit pants.
Like, matter of fact, I my third time preaching was at my father's church. I preached in a sweatsuit. And I did that on purpose. Right. Because I knew it was gonna be a lot of youth there. Yeah. But I wanted to show them, like, you can be yourself.
Yeah. And that's, I think that's where like things come. It's like, that's where like I think things are missed. Cause it's like, just because you have to take out certain aspects, it's not like you're stripping away your life just because you decide you want to be saved or you want to walk with Christ. Like, you can still have, cause like, again, like, we be out on the breezeway, you know what I'm saying, at the 12 to 2s, dancing, having a good time. But it's like, fun. But it's also, it's like, to a certain extent, I'm not going to go to the parties because that's not an atmosphere of anything good.
That I want to be a part of.
Exactly. But it's like you said, going out and having a good time. It's like, I think a lot of times, again, Christians are put in this perfect box.
Yeah, they
where
are.
It's like, no, I'm not perfect. And yes, I'm still going to mess up. Mm-hmm. Intentionally, not all the time.
But Christians do it to themselves because they don't explain that. They don't explain that part. They explain, I found God. And that's it. That's where they stop.
And see, I think that too is where, because I think we're a very driven generation. Like, right now, we want to know God.
Absolutely.
Real bad. Because I feel like our generation has been hit with a lot where we know, like, okay, like, it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really real out here.
We low-key like miniature Enochs. Like, we not to his level to where because I'm not trying to just evaporate out of nowhere. Like, I'm not trying to do that. But we are on the level where we like, all right, God, like, that ain't enough for me. I need to know, like, who you really is. Like, show me. Like, I don't want to just cry in church. Like, nah, I need to see something.
For sure.
You know what I'm
saying? But I think too, it's like, being that we are such a driven generation, I think that kind of like what you said, like what you're doing, where like you're going out and like you're allowing people to see everything is important, because I think, like you said, as Christians, we don't show the full picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't, a lot of times it's only the good. Like, God did this and God did this. Well, God also did this. But I also did this. Because I think we don't take responsibility for our own mishaps. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is not on God.
Yeah.
But I think it's on our generation to kind of, or on, I don't want to say people like us, but like I think we have been placed in the positions that we are in to help guide. Because like, I think it was like a random like Wednesday or something, like DJR. For those that don't know Winston, it's our student center. So a random Wednesday in the student center, and one of my guy friends came up to me, and it was like a conversation came out. Like, we were talking about something that was going on that day, and he was just like, I don't even know how we got to the topic, but like, he was just like he was, trying to begin a new walk with Christ, you know what I'm saying? And he was just like, I've been praying for this, and it's just like, it's not happening, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's I'm like, so then I was just like, have you changed your prayer?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, and so then we went down this whole like rabbit hole conversation of like, like basically whatever he was going through. I'm not gonna put his business out there, but like what he was going through, and literally in the middle of the student center. And it's just like, I wasn't expecting that conversation to happen, but I could tell that he needed that conversation, because it's like a lot of times we don't know, like, people overcomplicate prayer. Like, we don't know how to pray. We may be reading and not understand what we're reading, because a lot of times people just open the Bible, read, and expect to understand what's happening.
Yeah.
But it's like if you are, it's foreign.
Yeah.
If you've never opened the word and read the word before, it's gonna be like reading gibberish.
That's why you gotta study it. Like
exactly, but also ask for guidance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Holy Spirit, let me understand.
I was about to say, a lot of people don't pray before they start reading.
Talk
like
about
that.
it.
That's you. I mean, you got to for real, like.
Yeah.
Because I mean, now if you're somebody who's read the Bible for a long time, you
Yeah.
know, you can understand what things are saying or when they're referencing another scripture or stuff like that, then you know, you good. But like, if you just now starting out, and even I mean, I've been saved for a minute, but I still pray every time before I read the Bible. Like, all right, whatever you need me to see, whatever I'm about to read, show me.
Do you read King James? Because me and King James got beef.
Yeah, me too. Me and King James got beef too. I'm more so NLT or
sure.
I'm not really message Bible.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with it.
For sure.
I'm not really a message person. But
I don't got nothing against King James either. But
yeah,
me and him, we got beef. Because why'd you write that like that?
Yeah, NLT and NIV is my to go to.
CBS. Is it CSB? CSB.
CSB.
Christian Standard.
Okay, I read some translations in that. Yeah. But
so anybody that needs help, don't go to King James first.
And that's one of the things that I found out when it came to like, so when I was doing a Bible study, I got a lot of dudes in there that their walk in Christ hasn't been super long.
Right.
And I asked them like, what version do y'all read? They like KJV. Yeah, you went wrong.
Yes.
That's where you went wrong.
You cannot start with King James.
Because they'd be like, why didn't I understand it? That's why. You didn't understand it because you couldn't get past thou. That's why.
And you can thou.
So like, I try to show them different translations of the Bible. And then like, I might reference it back to KJV to be like, okay, well, this is what he's basically saying.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of all of the filler words.
Yeah.
This is what he's saying.
Yeah.
So
yeah. KJV is back there. Actually, that's not KJV. Never mind. That's
the New Revised
Standard. Never mind.
That's a long translation.
That is.
That's a long name for translation.
Note to everyone that's new on the Rock with Christ. KJV is great. King James, he's great. I have a lot of questions as why he wrote the Bible the way he did. You know, so Lord, if you want to answer that question for me, go ahead.
But then Jesus really also talked in parables.
For sure.
So
100%.
I feel like that could be another reason because Jesus never really said what he was going to do. He just said
said
what he was going to do.
The thous and these were unnecessary.
It definitely was because he could have been like, y'all, I'm about to go do this real quick.
Hello.
It didn't have to be like.
That's why I like the Passion Translation. But the Passion Translation is not complete. They haven't finished all of it.
Yeah.
But anybody starting new, I recommend NLT, NIV, Christian Standard is good, CSB, and the Passion.
Yeah. Download
the Bible app on your phone if you don't have it.
A lot of newer Christians like the Message Bible too because it's straightforward.
It's straightforward. Yeah.
Like back in that day, it was like, thou shall go over there and drink of that water. When you could have just been like, hey, bro,
go drink the water.
Go drink it. Like,
simple.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
why do you need the thous and these?
I honestly don't know. Like, I don't know if that was just the language of that time, and that's just kind of how everybody.
You know what it gives? It gives like the what am I trying to say? The medieval times.
Yeah, that's
what it gives.
That's what it. But I mean, wasn't it Greek?
Great question. Thanks for asking.
I think the original Bible was written in Greek, if I'm not mistaken. Or because it was during the Roman times.
Yeah.
So I feel like I want to say it was like within that era. I think it was Greek is what it was written in. Yeah.
I mean, King James, that it sounds medieval.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it was back in that time. So I get why they were speaking like that. But then it's like, then you got Jesus coming along, and he just kind of like he real straightforward. Like he talks in that sometimes, but he really straightforward. Just like, hey y'all, I'm here. I'm the king.
And that's that.
And that's just gonna be that.
And I think too, like that's how we like just as simple as he talks to us, it's just as simple as we have to talk to him.
Literally, like I talk about prayer a lot in the Bible study. And I just kind of tell them like, y'all it ain't gotta be super deep. Like you're gonna have those prayers,
yes,
where it's gonna be super deep, but you're gonna be led to have that type of prayer. A lot of times, my prayer is just like, all right, God, like let's get the day started. You know what I'm saying? Like let's have a good day. Yeah. I hope that whatever I'm doing today is pleasing you. Like it's a regular conversation.
Yeah.
It's not I'm on my knees crying and you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've had those prayers before.
For sure.
But like I said, I felt led to do them. So I just feel like a lot of people feel like they have to be they have to come to God a certain way. I just feel like people overlook that come as you are.
Yeah.
And that's why, going back to your point where you said, people stray away from it because they feel like they got to be perfect before they come to God. Because, and partially that's our fault.
Yeah.
Because like you said, we only talk about the good. We don't talk about what we had to give up. We don't talk about what we had to go through to get to the good.
We also don't talk about the relationship part about it. Like, I think religion tells us I need to come to church with a skirt below my knees,
absolutely,
buttoned up, suit and tie. And I think too, like for me, I grew up in an older church, so it is very much, you know, religious tradition. You know what I'm saying? Where I think the new age church is looser. Like, you know, ripped jeans, who cares? You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
Sweats, who cares? Like, as long as you're in God's presence,
as long as your heart is right.
Exactly. That's what matters. Like, you don't have to have, and I think even me being the rebellious child that I am, I think that like going to my church now, like I said, it is an older church, but even now, like I wear what I want to wear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that until that becomes the norm, it won't change. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, I think that aspect of the Christian church and religion in itself is kind of what scares people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's what pushes people away, where it's like they say come as you are, but if I come with whipped jeans, I'm gonna get crucified for it.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying?
Literally. Now, I mean, obviously there's things that you shouldn't wear to church.
For sure. 100%.
Absolutely.
Don't,
but
yeah, 100%.
Like jeans, stuff that's still covering me up, like, why are you tripping?
I'm not coming in a crop top and booty shorts.
Literally.
You know
so it's just like how I explain it to people is like, come as you are, but you're not gonna leave as you are.
Talk about it.
Because you can never be in God's presence and leave the same.
Hello.
Like it's impossible to do. Now, over time, you can go back to the same stuff you was doing.
For sure.
But while
you can leave
presence,
different and still backtrack.
You can backslide.
You can hit the reverse button.
You can backslide for sure. But while you in that presence, you're not gonna be the same person. And that's just kind of what I explain to people. It's just like, it's more important to have a relationship than to worry about religion. Because one of the craziest things I heard, my dad said, he was like, son, if Jesus came to earth and had church, we would have to teach him how to have church.
Wow.
He was like, because back in that time, it was structured, but it wasn't like church how it is now.
Yeah.
It's a time limit on stuff. Like, why are you putting a time limit on God's presence?
Talk about it.
Like he said, if Jesus came down here right now and walked into somebody's church, we would have to teach him we would have to teach him that he got to wait to sit down to an usher show him the seat. Like, we would have to, you know, he would have to walk in a certain line to go give an offering. Like he was saying, we would have to teach them. I was like, dang, never thought of it that way. He was like, but yeah, like we've created it to be what we want it to look like. But from the jump, it's only been have a relationship with me. It's never been I need you to have a treasury. I need you to have an usher board. I need y'all to vote on who's gonna be the next elect elder of the church. Like, I didn't ask for all of that. I just asked for y'all to be in y'all's respective places when I call you and walk in that. But we've made it so much now to where, that's why I said it's so confusing to the outer world, because they don't know where to start.
Jesus.
Like they don't know who to start listening to, because you don't know if, oh well, he's just a youth pastor, so can I really listen to him? Or he's just this, so can I? They don't know where to start. It's gonna take people like us.
Yeah.
That ain't, you know, I could care less about the minister title. Yeah. I didn't do it for the title. I did it because I felt led to take that next step. But without that, I was still doing the same thing. Still talking about God. Still walking in Christ. Like, so it's just like, I think people get that title. I think that's what really messed up the church. Titles.
Again, I apologize. I really do apologize. I know things were getting good, but me and Sonje, we just be talking, you know what I'm saying? And that's what y'all came to hear. So we're going to report back next week for part 3. I know it's getting good. I promise you. I don't mean to keep doing this to y'all, but you're going to have to come back again. So make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, turn your notifications on so you don't miss the rest of this conversation. And I'm going to see y'all next week. But make sure y'all go like, comment, and subscribe below here. Do what you got to do. And follow us on Instagram at untitledconvos.podcast. Again, that's untitledconvos.podcast on Instagram and TikTok, and on Twitter at untitledconvos. I promise you this next part, y'all going to want to see just how y'all wanted to see this part. So come back next week for part 3. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.